Chapter 1262. Damn it, what did I just say to you? Zhu Lingling's face darkened. Ha! Gao Ran couldn't help but laugh out loud. To be honest, I really feel inferior when compared to Mian and Wei Wei. Sometimes, I think I'll never reach their heights, but I don't want to compare myself to them. They're my good friends and I'm happy for them if they're happy. Tonight, I suggested we play a game. Actually, what they said was hilarious, so I tried my best not to laugh. I wanted to win against them and prove that I'm good at it. But I know, even if I'm dumb, I can tell that everyone was going easy on me. What I said wasn't funny, but everyone laughed. They were doing it for my sake. I'm glad that I have a group of friends like them. I love them, but I love you more. Gao Ran lovingly kissed Zhu Lingling's forehead. Silly, you might not be the best, but in my eyes, you're the best. There's only one Zhu Lingling in this world, and she's the Zhu Lingling of Gao Ran's family. She's the one who always bickers with me, but she's tough on the outside but soft on the inside. She's the one with the biggest boobs and the most beautiful flight attendant. I don't care what other people think or say, but in my heart, you're already priceless. This was the first time that Zhu Lingling heard Gao Ran being so serious. She felt like her heart was about to melt. She wrapped her arms around Gao Ran's neck and slowly leaned in. The two of them kissed tightly in the car, from the initial gentle entanglement to the final overwhelming kiss on the other side. Qin Chu and Huamin were heading home to South Hill Manor. Huamin was in a good mood. He sat in the passenger seat and hummed along. Honey, are you happy tonight? I'm super happy. When I was fooling around with Lingling, I felt like I was back in school. I had the same feeling too. Qin Chu smiled. Honey, I didn't know you could tell dirty jokes until today, Huamin. So, when we get home, take a shower and go to bed, can you tell me a couple more? I want to hear something deeper than the last one, Qin Chu said as he drove. Huamin, she didn't think too much about it. She just thought of it on the spur of the moment and said it casually. She didn't expect Mr. Qin to remember it so well. Why did it feel like she was labeled as a dirty person? That wasn't her true nature. Honey, you misunderstood me. I saw that joke in a magazine. I'm not good at it. Huamian explained guiltily. Oh, that's okay. Which magazine did you read it from? I'll buy a few more for you. You can learn a few more and teach them to me. However, Qin Chu remained calm. Huamian was silent. Meanwhile, in the Jaguar, the two of them were kissing passionately. Everyone else was home, but they were still in the parking lot of the hotel. After some time, the two of them couldn't breathe. Gao Ran reluctantly let go of Lingling, and he carefully tidied up her messy clothes. Gao Ran looked at Zhu Lingling with deep affection and gentleness in his eyes. He said something to her, inadvertently, but it was like a sudden clap of thunder that woke her up. Zhu Lingling thought he was going to say, Lingling, let's go home. However, to her surprise, Gao Ran suddenly said in all seriousness, Lingling, let's get married, shall we? What did you say? Zhu Lingling felt her mind go blank. Chapter 1263. Let's get married, let's get married. Gao Ran looked at Zhu Lingling gently as he repeated his words. Gao Ran actually said something as formal as a proposal so easily, although there were no flowers, no diamond rings, no candles, no fireworks, and no grand occasion. Zhu Lingling was so touched that tears streamed down her face. She didn't know why, but her tears kept flowing. Why are you crying? Gao Ran was terrified. He didn't know what a woman was thinking. He thought that his proposal scared Zhu Lingling to tears. Gao Ran quickly took back a tissue and carefully wiped away Zhu Lingling's tears. Do you think a proposal is a small thing? You don't even have a ring? Zhu Lingling said as she cried. She tried to cover up her tears because she was so touched. Yes, yes, yes. Then, Gao Ran magically took out a red brocade box and opened it in front of Zhu Lingling. It was a very ordinary diamond ring, but the diamond was very big. How much did it cost to buy such a big ring? Zhu Lingling asked as she wiped away her tears. Not much, not much. Less than 100,000. Gao Ran giggled. Less than 100,000? You can't even earn a year's salary? Zhu Lingling was angry and heartbroken. It's okay, hee. If a year's salary isn't enough, I'll give it to you for 2 years. Anyway, I've been working for so long and haven't spent much of my salary. My parents pay for my meals, so it's definitely enough to buy a ring. Are you stupid? Why did you buy such a big one? Zhu Lingling always knew that although Gao Ran's family was rich, his salary wasn't high. It wasn't even as high as Zhu Lingling's salary. He couldn't compare to rich CEOs like Qin Chu and Wei Liao. So, she was heartbroken that he spent so much money on a ring. I was thinking that if the diamond was bigger, the chances of you accepting my proposal would be higher. Gao Ran scratched the back of his head and smiled embarrassedly. You're so stupid. Zhu Lingling held the ring and couldn't put it down. She put it on her middle finger and it fit perfectly. You guessed the size right. You're so lucky. Zhu Lingling said stubbornly. What do you mean guessed? I secretly measured it while you were sleeping. Gao Ran said innocently. Zhu Lingling's heart immediately overflowed with a warm feeling. It turned out that this seemingly heartless police officer, who only had work in his eyes, actually had such a meticulous side to him? Where are the flowers? There aren't any flowers. Zhu Lingling tried to find fault with her. Flowers? Then, Gao Ran lowered his head and took out a food bag from the back seat. Zhu Lingling opened it and was a little dumbfounded. Flour pancakes? I think flowers are too wasteful and not suitable. Flour pancakes are also made with flowers and can be eaten. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Zhu Lingling. This was the first time in her life that she saw someone propose with flour pancakes instead of flowers. Then Zhu Lingling said faintly, since you can propose to me with fresh flour pancakes instead of fresh flowers, should I buy you some wife pancakes and pretend that I'm your wife? I don't have to go. Gao Ran, but the diamond is real. Zhu Lingling looked at Gao Ran's aggrieved face and immediately smiled through her tears. So, the gentle, beautiful, kind, generous, and omnipotent Miss Zhu Lingling, will you marry me? Gao Ran didn't know how to be romantic. He originally planned to propose after they got home and when they were in the throes of their XXO. But now, he realized that the atmosphere after the two of them kissed was very good. So, he proposed in the car. Now, he was just waiting for Zhu Lingling to nod. Then, he decided that the two of them would get their marriage certificate tomorrow and say goodbye to being single. Chapter 1264. Zhu Lingling was actually looking forward to this moment. Like Huamin, she missed 7 years with Gao Ran. They were supposed to be lovers in high school. But for various reasons, they didn't end up together. After 7 years, the two of them were still together. Naturally, they cherished this relationship. Ever since they moved in together, their lives were no different from when they were married. When she was at home on vacation, she would cook for Gao Ran and wash his clothes. When Gao Ran got off work, the two of them would watch movies and eat supper like a normal couple. All they lacked was a marriage certificate. Zhu Lingling wasn't that pretentious. She had a carefree personality and had been hurt in love before. Therefore, she didn't expect to get married so early. However, she couldn't deny that she loved Gao Ran very much. She had already decided that he would be her partner for life. However, this proposal came so suddenly that she wasn't mentally prepared. Lingling, are you daydreaming? Seeing that Zhu Lingling didn't answer for a long time and only lowered her head in silence, Gao Ran didn't know what to do. After a while, Zhu Lingling raised her head and returned the diamond ring to Gao Ran. What do you mean? Gao Ran's heart sank. I really want to marry you, but now is not the time. I'm waiting for an opportunity. What opportunity? Gao Ran froze. The opportunity for Mian to get pregnant, Zhu Lingling said word by word. Gao Ran didn't say anything, however. He didn't expect this to be Zhu Lingling's answer. Then she said, Mian treats me like a sister. When I was in trouble, she would risk her life to protect me. I remember all of that. She hasn't had a baby since she got married, and it has always been a pain in her heart. However, I believe that she will have one. The moment she has a baby, we will get married and have children. It will be the best of both worlds, so I'm waiting for that opportunity. Then, Gao Ran paused for a moment. He raised his hand and rubbed the tip of his nose. If they don't have a baby, we won't get married? Of course not. What I mean is that we can wait. They will have a baby. Give me a year. If they don't, we will still get married, okay? I just want to wait for her. Zhu Lingling enunciated each and every word clearly. Gao Ran had been a criminal police officer for a long time, so he was very good at reading people's eyes. Sometimes, he could tell whether you were lying or just brushing him off with a single glance. He looked into Zhu Lingling's eyes and realized that there was nothing but sincerity in her. It seemed like she was really waiting for Qin's baby to be born, to announce their marriage to add to the icing on the cake. Sure, I'll listen to you. Gao Ran nodded. Then, you're not mad at me, right? Zhu Lingling asked anxiously. She was afraid that Gao Ran would be disappointed. No, why would I be mad? You'll be mine sooner or later. You won't be able to run away. After speaking, before Zhu Lingling could say anything, he took out a diamond ring and forced it on Zhu Lingling's finger. Put the ring on. I already know that you're my wife, Gao Ran said domineeringly. Zhu Lingling's heart immediately swelled with happiness. A diamond ring worth more than 90,000 yuan cost Gao Ran almost 2 years' worth of his salary. She wore the ring on her finger and was filled with happiness. It wasn't because of how expensive the ring was. Instead, it was because this was Gao Ran's most sincere gift. On the other hand, ever since Wuxia and Xianxia got married, Wuxia didn't go home to sleep. After work, he received a call from Mayor Song, asking him to pick up Xianxia from his home. It turned out that Xianxia went home the day after their wedding. She didn't want the media to report about it, so she didn't leave the house. Mayor Song thought that this was a good idea, so he called Wuxia. After work, Wuxia drove straight to the Song family's home. Xianxia was just about to go downstairs when she saw Wuxia. Her expression changed. What are you doing here? Chapter 1265. Father-in-law called me and asked me to come pick you up. I'm not going back, you should leave. Xianxia didn't hate Wuxia anymore. Instead, she was afraid of him. On their wedding night, she was covered in injuries from the beating of a belt. She didn't even dare to tell her parents, so she could only swallow her anger. She finally realized that Wuxia was a true psycho, and it was unwise to go against him. Therefore, she would rather hide from him and stay at the Song mansion. I don't care, you can do whatever you want. Wuxia didn't care about Xianxia. He married her for a reason. Now that he had achieved his goal, he didn't care if she went home or not. After speaking, Wuxia turned around to leave. However, he bumped into Mayor Song, who had just opened the door. Father-in-law. Wuxia smiled. Where are you going? Mayor Song asked with a dark expression. Sure said she's not going back, so she told me to leave first. Nonsense. If you say you're not going back, then you're not going back. Both of you, come here, I have something to say. After speaking, Mayor Song walked in with a dark expression and sat down on the sofa in the living room. Xianxia reluctantly walked down the stairs in a black lace dress. Wuxia was smiling the entire time. He sat down next to Mayor Song without a trace of awkwardness. It was as if he didn't care about his father-in-law at all. I don't care why you two got married, but you're already husband and wife. It doesn't matter if you're in a good relationship or not. The most important thing is that you don't let people talk about you. Nowadays, the media can expose anything. Sure, you can't stay at home all the time, so you should go home first. I'm not going home. Shut up, it's not up to you. Do you expect me to clean up after you too? Mayor Song's words were quite harsh. Xianxia immediately fell silent. Wuxia, on the other hand, was smiling the entire time. It was hard to tell what he was thinking. Even if you want to get a divorce, it'll have to wait 3 months. After the provincial election, Mayor Song's intention was obvious. He didn't want any negative news about him to affect his future. Got it, Dad? Xianxia felt that it was only 3 months, and it shouldn't be too difficult, so she stopped arguing with her father. I'm fine with that. Wuxia shrugged. Also, the two of you have to be lovey-dovey in public. You have to pretend to be lovey-dovey. You can't let people catch you red-handed. Xianxia was angry, but he still nodded. I got it, Dad. I'll listen to you, father-in-law. Hua Xiqian nodded. Okay, you can leave now. Or you can leave after dinner. Mayor Song stood up and left. Song Yishe glared at Hua Xiqian. You'd better not touch me for the next 3 months. Don't worry, even if you beg me I won't. Hua Xiqian sneered. Let him touch her? Are you kidding me? Even a prostitute from a nightclub would be better than Song Yishe. This woman really thought too highly of herself. The two of them weren't in the mood to stay for dinner, so they left together. Then, they each drove back to Hua Xiqian's mansion. After they got home, Hua Xiqian changed his clothes and went out again. Song Yishe was already used to this, so she didn't ask where he was going. She took a shower and went to bed. After making sure that Hua Xiqian was really gone, Song Yishe picked up her phone and dialed a number. Come out tomorrow, let's meet. Our plan can't be stopped, we have to continue. Hua Xiqian was driving with his earphones on. After eavesdropping, he took off his earphones and threw them aside. Bitch, you can't even stop for a second? Sooner or later, you'll get yourself killed. The next morning it was the weekend. Hua Min was resting, while Qin Chu was picked up by the company's chauffeur in a Bentley. He left his beloved Maybach with Hua Min. Hua Min drove the Maybach straight to Sky Blessing Court to visit her mother. She wanted to see if Yang Xiaoping was still there. Did she return the item? Chapter 1266. At Sky Blessing Court. When Hua Min arrived, his mother had just finished eating and was cleaning the house. Mom, Mian, you're back? Yeah, Mom. Where's Xiaoping? Hua Min looked around and asked tentatively. Oh, Xiaoping left. Yang Meirong said as she mopped the floor. Oh, she left? Why did she leave? Your kid said she found a job and got paid 5,000 yuan a month. I thought it was pretty good, so I let her go. Otherwise, it's meaningless to stay here. It's just like going to jail. Oh? Hua Min nodded and didn't say anything else. Oh, right, I found the jewelry, Mian. You found it? Where did you find it? Hua Min knew that Yang Xiaoping was afraid of going to jail and wouldn't dare to not get the jewelry back. The jewelry wasn't worth much, but it was a matter of character. Stealing was a shameful thing. You can't do something wrong because you're poor or jealous. Those were all dirty excuses. Yang Meirong put down the mop in her hand and straightened up. Xiaoping found it when she was helping me pack up some old clothes. It's weird, I couldn't find it no matter how hard I searched, but now I have it. Did you find it? Is there anything missing? Hua Min asked worriedly. No, there's nothing missing. That's good. What's wrong? Yang Meirong felt like her daughter was acting weird today. Nothing. Mian, is there still no news from your belly? Yang Meirong remembered. Hua Min shook his head. It's okay, you're still young. Take care of your body, you'll definitely get pregnant. Yang Meirong didn't want her daughter to be sad, so she comforted her. I'm fine, you don't have to worry about me. Then, Hua Min changed into his old clothes and helped his mother clean the house. At noon, Hua Min had a simple meal with his mother and left. After Hua Min came out, he drove directly to Xiewan's place. Shui had been discharged from the hospital for a long time, and Xiewan had also gone to work. The mother and son were doing well. Sometimes, Xiewan would give Hua Min some delicious food that she made herself, including pickled vegetables and braised eggs. He would also make some insoles, sock covers and the like by hand. In short, Xiewan was very grateful for Hua Min's kindness to her and her son. It was the weekend. When Hua Min arrived, Xiewan and Shui were having lunch. He was surprised to see Hua Min. Sister Hua Min? Shui put down his chopsticks and ran over happily. Hua Min patted his head. You've grown taller again, Shui. How are your studies? Pretty good. I came in 15th place on the monthly exam, which is 5 places better than last time. Last time, I was 20th, and there were 45 students in my class. Before Hua Min could ask, Shui blurted out everything. That's great. Good luck. Hua Min generously praised the child. Dr. Hua, you're just in time. Come sit down and eat with us. Xiewan stood up and warmly greeted Hua Min. It's okay, Sister Xie. I already ate at my mother's place. I came today because I wanted to see you and Shui. Thanks to you, my son and I are doing very well now. I didn't even dare to dream that there would be such a day. Xie was very satisfied when she talked about the happy life she had today. What about Ni Yang? Have you been in touch with him? When Xie heard Ni Yang's name, she shook her head with a complicated expression. That's why I'm here. I don't think it should be delayed any longer. I want to resolve the conflict between you and your son. Huh? Will Ni Yang forgive me? Xie was surprised. Chapter 1267. That's my business, don't worry about it. Anyways, just listen to me. Then, how can I thank you, Dr. Hu, for helping us so much? Xie wanted to kneel down and kowtow to Huamin 100 times because Huamin had done so much for her. It's okay, Ni Yang is like my little brother. I want to see him reunite with his mother and brother. Don't feel too pressured. Huamin stayed at the Xie mansion for a while and bought Shui a lot of school supplies before leaving for GK. GK was shooting a promotional video for celebrities this weekend, therefore, most of the celebrities had to come back to the company. Huamin thought that she would definitely see Ni Yang here. However, to her surprise, she bumped into two other people in the lobby downstairs. Shui and Jiang Yi. Jiang Yi was an artist who lived in Jing City, but he had been showing up in the city a lot lately. Everyone said that he and Shui were good friends. Now that she thought about it, it really was a young lady. Hello, a young lady. Good afternoon, a young lady. Everyone at GK knew who Huamin was. Even though she was dressed casually in a short beige jacket, pencil pants, and mid-height boots, she looked as fresh and cute as a teenage girl. However, none of the employees dared to offend the woman that their boss loved the most. A young lady, what a coincidence, why are you here? Shui smiled when she saw Huamin. It was as if the abortion incident never happened. Huamin nodded. I'm here to see Ni Yang. A young lady seems to be very close to Ni Yang. Jiang Yi said with jealousy. Huamin ignored Jiang Ye's words because she didn't know this person at all. After that, Huamin swiped his card and used the boss' personal elevator to go upstairs. Jiang Yi looked at Huamin's back and shook his head. Tsk, this woman is really arrogant. She actually ignored me. Shui chuckled. If you knew that she even dared to scold Lord Su, you wouldn't feel so wronged. Actually, I'm very curious. I really want to know what kind of woman she is. Jiang Yi sneered. So, are you planning to make our boss your enemy? Shui sneered. Jiang Yi smiled but didn't say anything. Huamin would never give face to people he wasn't familiar with, no matter who they were. Jiang Yi felt that his status was very high, so he felt wronged because he was rejected. If Lord Su knew about this, wouldn't he feel even more wronged? If Huamin was someone who could be won over by burning money, why would Su Yu be in so much pain right now? After Huamin arrived at GK, for the first time, she didn't go straight to the president's office. Instead, she went to the artist department. As expected, Ni Yang was putting on makeup. A young lady, you're here. A few executives from the marketing department all greeted Huamin. Huamin nodded and went straight to Ni Yang. Sister Huamin, why are you here? Ni Yang looked up. I'm here to see you. What is it? Ni Yang smiled. Ever since a lot of things happened between them, Ni Yang had always treated Huamin like his own sister. Ever since Ji Xin left the country, Huamin had also treated Ni Yang like her own little brother. Therefore, they didn't hide anything from each other. Are you free tonight? I'll treat you to dinner. You're treating me to dinner? Ni Yang froze. Huamin smiled and nodded. Sister Huamin, are you up to something? One who is unaccountably solicitous is hiding evil intentions. You taught me that. Ni Yang smiled. Yeah, I'm up to something. Do you have the guts to go? Of course, my sister is treating, I have to go. Not only that, but I'm also going to make you pay. Ni Yang was in a great mood. Inside GK, boss, a young lady is here. Where is she? Qin Chu looked up with a file in his hand. She went straight to film and television. Assistant Yang pointed in another direction. Qin Chu was speechless. How could he not know that his wife was here? So I'm conflicted. Should I call her here for you? Or should you call her yourself? Assistant Yang asked with a trembling voice. He felt like something was off between the president and a young lady today. Chapter 1268. Qin Chu's face darkened. Did he have to call her? She was already at HQ. How could she not come to his office? If she didn't come, then tonight? He would have an excuse to tie her hands with a belt again. Would Huamin give him that chance? The answer was no. After Huamin and Ni Yang agreed to have dinner together, without another word, they went straight to the president's office. At that time, Jiang Yi, Mo Shui, Annie Liang, and a few other celebrities were talking to Qin Chu about a commercial performance during Chinese New Year. Huamin didn't even knock and pushed the door open. She ignored everyone and threw herself at Qin Chu. Like a little bird, she opened her arms and threw herself into Mr. Qin's arms. She gave Mr. Qin a surprise bear hug. "Honey, I'm here." She then realized that there might be other people in the office. She looked up and saw Jiang Yi, Mo Shui, and Annie Liang looking at her with dumbfounded expressions. Perhaps they didn't expect a young lady, who usually looked so dignified, to have such a funny side. You're in a meeting? I'll go out first, you guys talk." Realizing that she had interrupted Mr. Qin's work, Huamin immediately stood up and tried to run away. However, Mr. Qin held her tightly in his arms and wouldn't let her go. "Sit down, it's fine." Mr. Qin only said those 4 simple words, but was it really okay? The problem was that Huamin was sitting on Qin Chu's lap. Just then, Jiang Yi, who was sitting on the sofa, asked sourly, "Is this how the president usually does his work?" It's my first time seeing this," Annie Liang replied. Mo Shui smiled. She thought that she should let Huaxiqian see this scene. He wanted to see how loving Huamin and Qin Chu were. Then, his heart would bleed. Mo Shui used to think that she was the most pitiful person in the world. However, she soon realized that she was nothing compared to Huaxiqian. Huaxiqian didn't love her, but he was willing to sleep with her. On the other hand, Huaxiqian liked Huamin, but Huamin never knew about his feelings for her all these years. His love was not as obvious as Su Yu's. Therefore, Mo Shui felt that Huaxiqian was the most pitiful person in the world. "My wife is a little naughty. Don't mind her. Let's continue with the meeting." Qin Chu hugged Huamin as if no one was around. Then he continued to talk to the superstars about the end of the year. His spirit of doting on his wife was unparalleled. 15 minutes later, the meeting ended and the few of them left the office. Huamin heaved a sigh of relief and hugged Qin Chu's neck coquettishly. "Hubby, is it really okay for us to show off our love like this?" "Who said we were showing off? Isn't this our daily routine?" Qin Chu asked in all seriousness. Fine. You win." Huamin could never compare to Qin Chu's black-bellied ways. She was once worried that her baby would inherit this fine tradition of his. In the future, he would be invincible with his black-bellied ways. "I heard that when you came to the company, you went to the film and television department first?" "Huh? You saw me on the surveillance cameras?" Huamin laughed. "Qin Chu, why would I need surveillance cameras? There are so many pairs of eyes watching you when you walk into the company. What were you doing there?" "I was looking for Ni Yang." "Why were you looking for him?" Mr. Qin was slightly jealous. "To have dinner with him. I'm going to treat him to dinner tonight." "Okay, I'm coming too," Mr. Qin announced domineeringly. Huamin, hubby, come down. Listen to me first. I wanted to have dinner with Ni Yang because I have something to discuss with him." "What is it?" "It's about the reconciliation between him and his mother. I told you about it before." "So, I can't go with you? You have to go alone?" Qin Chu looked at Huamin and asked. "Yeah, not only can you not go, but you also have to approve something for me. Otherwise, I'm afraid I can't handle it." "What is it?" Qin Chu looked confused, but seeing how his wife was trying to curry favor with him, it probably wasn't anything good. As expected, Huamin slowly said, It's actually not a big deal. I just want your approval to have a drink with Ni Yang." "Drink? Wine?" Qin Chu repeated these two words with great emphasis. Chapter 1269. I want to drink. Huamin felt a little guilty. Are you sure? Qin Chu looked into her eyes and asked again in all seriousness. Huamin knew that her husband was going to reject her request, so she decided to play her trump card. She wrapped her arms around Qin Chu's neck and began to act coquettishly. Honey, you won't reject me, right? It's just a small request. A small request? You think drinking is a small request? Qin Chu raised his eyebrows. But I'm not just drinking for no reason. I want to help Yang. You don't have to drink to help him, do you? Why not? Last time, when I helped him get over the knot in his heart, I asked him to drink. This is called fighting poison with poison. Yang is an introvert. If he doesn't get drunk, he won't be able to open his heart. His relationship with his mother is like fire and water. I have to help them reconcile. This is the most important thing I can do for him. Qin Chu lowered his head and didn't say anything. Huamin didn't know what he was thinking. Mr. Qin? My dear husband, please? Huamin continued to poison Huamin. She wrapped her arms around Qin Chu's neck, and her tone was unprecedentedly gentle. In the end, Qin Chu was defeated by Huamin's sugar-coated bullets. I really don't know what to do with you. He sighed slightly. You said yes, honey? Go ahead, don't drink too much, take care of yourself. Qin Chu finally agreed to Huamin's rude request. Thank you, honey. Huamin was overjoyed. She kissed Qin Chu on the cheek. Then, she turned around and left his embrace. You're leaving just like that? Qin Chu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Wasn't his wife too realistic? Did she just turn around and leave after using him? Huamin was slightly startled. What else? Do you have to be so obvious about burning the bridge after crossing it? Qin Chu asked with a smile. I didn't want to disturb your work. Call me after dinner. I'll pick you up. Don't drink and drive, Qin Chu reminded her again. Huamin stretched out his hand and made an okay gesture, then left happily. He watched as a young lady left in a hurry. Little Yang knew that a young lady must have taken down the boss again. Needless to say, every time they faced off against each other, the boss never won. A young lady, you're leaving already? Little Yang smiled and flattered. All right, let's go. Bye-bye. After Huamin left, he drove straight back to South Hill Manor and took out a box of red wine from the wine cellar. Then, he would drive around the city to look for a suitable restaurant. After walking around for a while, he ended up at his 13 stores, which was also the busiest pedestrian street. One of them had been refurbished into a small Southeast Asian restaurant that specialized in Southeast Asian cuisine. Huamin hadn't eaten there before, so he was quite interested. After he parked his car, he walked in. Welcome, how many people are there? Do you have a private room? We do upstairs, please follow me. The waiter led Huamin upstairs. Huamin looked around and was very satisfied with the environment. After he finished his work at GK, Yang went to the address that Huamin sent him on WeChat. The two of them went to an elegant private room upstairs and ordered a few dishes. Then Huamin took out a bottle of red wine and opened it. Sister Huamin, are we drinking again? Yang couldn't hold his liquor, so he was confused when he saw red wine. He vaguely remembered that time at the hospital. The two of them were dead drunk. He even cried his eyes out. Therefore, he still had lingering fears. I'm going to celebrate in advance for you. Your New Year's movie is going to be released soon. I wish you all the best at the box office. Huamin found an excuse and then poured Yang and herself. Sister Huamin, you're secretly drinking again. Does the boss know? Yang asked carefully. Chapter 1270. Huamin was speechless. Little brat, why are you so nosy? Huamin looked at Yang with a smile. It's not that I'm nosy, it's just that the president is too scary when he's angry. I'm quite scared of President Qin. This was the truth. All the artists at GK weren't afraid of Qin Chu. Even the big shots, including Mo Shui, were very cautious when they saw Qin Chu. This was because they all knew that the president was very strict with his employees and would never joke around with them. If you did a good job, okay, he would reward you with tons of yuan, luxury cars, and mansions. If you didn't do a good job, okay, he would really do something to you. Who didn't know that this young boss could be said to be swift and decisive in doing things? His methods were also particularly powerful. Even if Ni Yang had a good relationship with Huamin, he wouldn't willfully use his connections. After all, he knew his president's temper. Don't worry, my husband is very gentle. Huamin continued to snicker. Ni Yang was speechless. Gentle? The word gentle has nothing to do with our president. Plus, even if he's gentle, he's only with you, so let's be careful. Don't worry, my husband already approved. Open your heart and celebrate with me. Cheers. Huamin raised her wine glass and livened up the atmosphere. Ni Yang wasn't prepared for this and began to drink with Huamin. Soon, the two of them finished 3 bottles of red wine. Red wine was actually very strong. It didn't feel good when they were drinking it, but after a while, they would feel dizzy. Ni Yang's cheeks were a little red. He looked at Huamin's face across from him and felt his vision blur. Sister Huamin, I can't drink anymore. If I drink any more, I'll be dead. This wine is too strong. Ni Yang shook his head and admitted defeat. Huamin felt that it was not enough. He asked the waiter to bring a lot of ice cubes and poured it directly into the red wine. In this way, the taste improved and it didn't taste bad anymore. By the time the 4th bottle was finished, Ni Yang had obviously drunk enough and took the initiative to sing his new song to Huamin. After snorting for a while, little Yang asked excitedly, "Sis, how was it? How was it? Does it sound good?" "Yes, not bad. It'll definitely be a hit. The album will sell well. Come, let's do another one to celebrate the popularity of your new song." Huamin raised his glass again. At this time, Ni Yang did not know how to refuse. He was quite cooperative and raised his glass as well. "Come on, Sister Huamin. Cheers." Sure enough, this brat fell for it so easily. Huamin took the opportunity to take out her phone. She lowered her head and sent a text to Xie Wan. The text read, "Big Sister Xie, come over now. I'm at 3rd Ring Pedestrian Street, 2nd floor of Nanyang Restaurant, room 208. I'm with Ni Yang. I plan to arrange for you guys to meet up later." After Xie Wan received the text, she was very excited. She struggled for a long time before replying to Huamin, "Is he really willing to meet me? Come on, trust me." Huamin only replied 5 words. She believed that Xie Wan would come. Ni Yang was in high spirits and kept urging her, "Sis, stop playing with your phone. Come on, let's drink." There's no rush. Come on, let's take a picture first." Huamin took out her selfie stick and foolishly gave Ni Yang a thumbs up. After taking the picture, Huamin did a simple edit and posted it on her WeChat moments. "Eating with a superstar, Eulalia? Does anyone want his autograph?" In the picture, Ni Yang was pouting with the naughtiness of a young girl. Ni Yang, on the other hand, stuck out his tongue and wore his hat askew, trying to look cool. As soon as the picture of the two was posted, it immediately caused a stir. Then, all of her WeChat moments were filled with envy and jealousy. Chapter 1271. Jixin. "Sis, when I get back to China, introduce me to Ni Yang. I really like his songs." Zhu Lingling. "Wow, he's so handsome, I want to meet him." Gao Ran replied to Zhu Lingling, "Are you looking for a beating?" Zhu Lingling? Jiang Xiaowei. "This restaurant has a nice ambience, please give me the address." Huamin replied to Jiang Xiaowei, "You're such a glutton." Assistant Chen Jie. "Chief, is that Ni Yang next to you? He's so handsome in real life, he's even more photogenic than on TV." Huasiqian. "Little Sister Mian, your lip gloss is so pretty today." After reading Huasiqian's comment, Huamin took out a mirror and looked at his lips in frustration. He used dark blue's number 5 lipstick every day, but why was Huasiqian's style so different from others? Just as Huamin was wondering, another comment appeared below. Qin Chu. "Isn't this photo a little too close?" Huamin replied to Qin Chu. Ni Yang replied to Qin Chu. Boss, I'll be more careful next time, please let me off the hook. After Yang replied, he immediately looked up at Huamin. Sis, do you think the president will hate me for this and give me a hard time? Of course not. My husband isn't that petty, okay? Huamin immediately defended Qin Chu. You're not a kid anymore. Do you have a girl you like? I think it's time for you to fall in love. I don't want to, my fans would go crazy. Yang smiled. Fans aren't that crazy anymore, they'll support their idols if they fall in love, okay? Anyways, if there's someone you like, let me know and I'll ask the company to do it for you. Yes. Yang nodded. Seeing that the atmosphere was about right, Huamian suddenly changed the topic. Little brother, what do you think is the most important thing in a person's life? Why do you ask such a profound question? Yang raised his head in surprise. It's just a casual chat. I want to ask for your opinion. I think, to me, the most important thing in life is to have a healthy body. Money, status, and power are just worldly possessions. Only when I'm healthy can I enjoy everything. Ever since that illness, Yang seemed to have thought things through a lot. Huamin was very satisfied with his answer and nodded. You're right, no matter how successful you are or how much money you have, you still have to be alive to spend it. The stupidest thing a person can do in life is to chase after unlimited wealth with their limited life and become a slave to money. Think about it, even if you become the richest man in the world, you won't live to be 200 years old. Life is short, so having a healthy body is the most important thing. Speaking of which, your surgery was so successful, you really have to thank the person who provided you with the liver. Yeah, by the way, do you have that person's contact information? I was going to give him a sum of money as a thank you. After all, he helped me. Huamian smiled. Listen to me first. Actually, liver donation is quite risky. Everyone's liver is only so big, and no one wants to donate such an important organ to someone unrelated to them. Don't you think it's strange that you were able to get a liver in such a short time, and it's such a good match? It's strange, I think I'm just too lucky. You're sure you're very lucky, because there's someone behind you who's willing to donate his liver to you. So, who is he? Can you let me meet him? I really want to thank him. Yang was a little moved. Do you really want to meet him? Huamin confirmed again. Yang nodded heavily. Drink up and I'll let you meet him right now. Right now? Yang was a little surprised. Huamin nodded. Without another word, Yang picked up the wine glass in front of him and downed it in one gulp. Then, Huamin got up, walked over, and yanked open the wooden door. Xiawan was standing at the door, and she looked at Yang with a complicated expression. At this moment, Yang was quite shocked. He stared blankly at the woman at the door, unable to say a word. He was completely dumbfounded. Chapter 1272. Why is she here? After a while, Yang finally came back to his senses and asked in a daze. She is the person who donated her liver to you. Huamin finally decided to tell him the truth. Otherwise, there would be no reason for Yang to forgive a woman he once hated to the core. She? Yang obviously didn't believe it. It's her. Otherwise, do you think a stranger's liver would be so easily absorbed and not rejected? Only those who are close to each other, those who are related by blood, would do this. At this moment, Xiewan's face was covered in tears. My child. I'm so sorry, Xiewan said as she cried. She wasn't a particularly selfish woman. She just couldn't accept the fact that she was raped by Yang's biological father back then. Therefore, she took her anger out on Yang and ignored him all these years. However, Yang was her child after all. He was a piece of flesh that fell from her body. Even a vicious tiger wouldn't eat its cubs. No matter how heartless she was, she wouldn't ignore Yang's life and death. After talking to Huamin for so long, she suddenly felt like she wasn't human. Because of the hatred between the adults, she let the child suffer. At the time, she didn't know that donating her liver wasn't life-threatening. She thought that after donating her liver, she wouldn't be able to live. She donated her liver with the intention of dying, only wanting to atone for her sins. In her opinion, Xianxia had already recovered, so she had nothing to worry about. For this son of hers, even if she had to sacrifice her life, it was worth it. Impossible, that's impossible. And Yang was a little emotional. He kept shaking his head and saying that it was impossible. Huamin saw that it was about time, so she slowly said, "Actually, the story goes like this. A woman was born with a hard life. She had someone she loved, but because she was raped by another man, she began her tragic life. Because of the fear of gossip, she married the man who raped her and gave birth to an innocent child. She was unhappy, and she was often beaten and scolded by drunk men. In the end, she couldn't bear such a hellish life, so she left. She neglected this innocent child, and the child hated his mother very much. He always thought that his mother's indifference to him was the reason for all these years of misfortune. Later, the child became successful, and the woman lived a lonely life with her son. When she found out that her successful son was seriously ill and needed a liver transplant, she didn't hesitate to donate her liver, hoping that he would forgive her. In this tragic story, the child was innocent and the woman was pitiful. She could only blame fate for playing tricks on people. Fortunately, it's all in the past now. They're living a good life now, but in their hearts, they can't forget each other. Whether it's love or hate, it's destined to be a lifelong bond because they're mother and son, and blood is thicker than water. Stop talking, Sister Huamin, stop talking. And Yang hugged his head and squatted down. He seemed to have suffered a huge blow. He couldn't accept the truth for a moment. Xie Wan also cried and couldn't speak. She no longer hoped that Yang would forgive her. She only hoped that the child would live a better life. No, I have to say this. Yang, everyone makes mistakes, but it's best if you can learn from your mistakes. Xie Wan already knows that she's wrong, and she's already atoning for it with her actions. She thought that she would die if she donated her liver, but after hesitating for a long time, she still donated it. It's obvious that in her heart, you're more important than her life. In this world, nothing is more precious than life, because everyone only has one life. The only people who can sacrifice their lives for you are the ones you love the most. This is an indisputable fact. Huamin looked at Yang and said with a bit of heartache, Chapter 1273. Huamin knew that Yang might not be able to handle so much at once, but she was still willing to try and see if she could make a breakthrough. Would this mother and son be able to reconcile? It all depended on today's incident. So, she had to try her best. No, she doesn't love me at all. She doesn't care if I live or die. She only has eyes for her youngest son. She only loves him. Yang hugged his head and cried bitterly. He didn't want to admit this fact. Huamin walked step by step to Yang's side, then slowly squatted down. He raised his head and gently patted him on the back. As if he was comforting a child, he said, Shui is just an innocent child. Like you, he was born into this world without knowing why. He didn't have a choice, and he just wanted to live a good life. Like you, he didn't have a father, and he only had a mother who depended on him. He's also the only person in this world who is related to you by blood other than your mother. I hope you can think about it from a different perspective. Yang didn't say anything, and he continued to cry. Huamin continued, I believe you've heard this saying before. A tree wants to be quiet, but the wind won't stop. A son wants to be filial, but his parents are gone. I don't want you to realize that your family is gone by the time you wake up. Then, even if you regret it, there's no point in trying to change it. Actually, our lives are very short in this world. Whether you love or hate your family, you won't be able to see them again in your next life. As mother and son, you only have this life, but there's no next life. So, I hope you can let go of your previous obsession. Don't dwell on the past. Start over, give yourself a chance to live, and give your family a chance to be close to you. When a person was drunk, all their emotions were magnified, and Yang had drunk so much, and his emotions were already complicated. After hearing what Huamin said, he became even more agitated. However, he listened to Huamin's words, especially when he said that the tree wants to be quiet, but the wind won't stop. A son wants to be filial, but his parents are gone. Imagine what would happen if he figured this out many years later, but by then his mother would probably be gone. When Yang thought of this, some things in his heart suddenly changed. He slowly stood up and looked at Xiaowan again. "Why are you helping me?" "Because you're my child." Xiaowan was an honest person and didn't know how to say nice things. It was just a simple sentence, but it made Yang's heart turn upside down. "Then why didn't you come looking for me all these years?" "When you're not doing well, I'm not doing well either. When you're doing well, I'm still not doing well. How can I still have the face to look for you? If it weren't for Shuai's kidney disease being so serious and his life being in danger, I wouldn't have asked you for money that time." "I'm sorry, I don't deserve to be your mother." After Xiaowan finished speaking, she burst into tears. Thinking back to the past few years, she and Shuai had not had it easy, but Yang had it even harder. In this cruel world, no one had an easy life. Yang looked at her with tears streaming down his cheeks. Finally, he knelt down on both knees and shouted at Xiaowan, "Mom." Xiaowan's body trembled. Then she couldn't help but rush over. She also knelt on the ground and hugged Yang's head as she cried, "Child, it's been hard on you all these years." Huamin was a person who was easily moved to tears. Under normal circumstances, he wouldn't cry. However, she was deeply affected by this scene. Then, tears streamed down her cheeks. Looking at Yang and Xiaowan, the mother and son, who had been together for so many years, she was truly happy for them. When she left Nanyang Tavern, she forgot to call Qin Chu. When she walked out and the cold wind blew, she suddenly remembered. She picked up her phone and was about to call. Suddenly, she saw a Rolls-Royce parked in front of her. The car window slowly rolled down. Huasiqian looked at Huamin and smiled. "Where are you going? I can give you a ride." "No need," Huamin refused. "Don't you want to see the old man? He's dying." Huasiqian's words surprised Huamin. Chapter 1274. Huamin then got into the car without a word. Huamin hadn't seen Hu Zhenghai in a long time. She didn't help him during the Hu Corporation civil war, so Hu Zhenghai quickly lost. In the end, he was imprisoned by Huasiqian, so his life must have been very bleak. However, Huamin didn't think that he would die so soon. In the car, the two of them remained silent. Huamin didn't like Huasiqian, so she didn't sit in the front passenger seat. Instead, she sat in the back. "Did you drink?" Huasiqian asked with a smile. "How did you know?" "It smells really strong." Huasiqian's car reeked of alcohol, but Huamin didn't smell it. Huamin didn't say anything. "Qin Chu asked you to drink in the middle of the night? And with another man? How do you know it was another man?" Huamin found it strange that Huasiqian knew everything and was as good as a half-immortal. "I saw Yang's sports car at the entrance of the restaurant you just came out of." Huamin, fine. She had to admit that Huasiqian was terrifyingly meticulous. "So Qin Chu isn't jealous? Yang is like a little brother to me. Why would Qin Chu be jealous?" Huamin rolled her eyes at him. Huasiqian smiled but didn't say anything. "How are you doing after your wedding? Are you happy? How's Song Yisher?" Huamin suddenly asked nosily. "She's doing great." "Really?" Huamin obviously didn't believe him. With a newlywed wife like Song Yisher, would he really have a good life? "Of course. I said that I'm doing well. As for how she feels, I've never asked her." Huasiqian smiled meaningfully. Song Yisher looked at him as if he was a ghost. She wished she could run away. Huasiqian was not someone who would spoil a woman. He would hit a woman anytime and anywhere. And he could pull out his belt at any time. Song Yisher would never forget that feeling for the rest of her life. About 20 minutes after the car had left, the car stopped at a remote villa. Huamin looked around. This should be the northeastern part of the city, an area that the government had yet to develop. The Hu family had a piece of land here that had never been used. Later on, Hu Zhenghai built a mansion for himself. It was supposed to be used to raise his mistress, but now it was used to imprison him. It was ironic. What's wrong with him? Huamin asked worriedly as they walked to the door. His body wasn't good to begin with, and he didn't control himself. He thought about having a son all day long and overindulged himself. There was nothing he could do. Huamin was speechless. Don't look at me like that, I didn't do anything to him. No matter how bad he is, he's still my adoptive father. I'm not cold-blooded enough to do anything to him. Huaxiqian explained, as if he was trying to distance himself from the blame. Huamin didn't say anything and followed him inside. Sir, you're here. An old woman in her 50s opened the door. She was dressed plainly, and her hair was a little white. Huaxiqian nodded and led Huamin inside. How's he doing today? Huaxiqian asked casually. Master isn't doing well. He only ate a little porridge the entire day, and then he threw it all up. Dr. Wang already came over to inject him with an 4 drip. Okay, I got it. Then, Huaxiqian led Huamin to the 2nd floor. Inside the master bedroom, Huaxinghai was lying on a large ivory bed, looking very haggard. He was even on an 4 drip. After not seeing him for more than a month, Huamin didn't expect him to become like this. He was so skinny that his cheeks were sunken in. You should go see him. I don't think he wants to see me, so I won't go over. Huaxiqian stood at the door. Huamin felt a little uncomfortable, so she slowly walked towards Huaxinghai. Mr. Hua. She thought for a moment and decided that this was probably the most appropriate way to address him. Huaxinghai slowly opened his eyes and looked at Huamin. You're here? Chapter 1275. Huamin nodded. Sit down. Huaxinghai struggled to speak, and his hands trembled. Huamin sat down quietly on the chair in front of his bed. Are you okay? Huamin wasn't lying. As a doctor, she couldn't bear to see a stranger so sick. That's it. You saw it yourself. I don't think I can hold on much longer. Don't say that. Take care of yourself. You're always so distant with me. The truth is, you hate me, don't you? Because of what I did to you and your mother. No, I don't hate you. I don't have the right to hate you. Huaxinghai was a little confused by Huamin's words. He didn't know why she said that. Huamin slowly leaned over and whispered into his ear, Mr. Hua, the truth is, I wanted to tell you a long time ago, but I never had the right opportunity. Since I'm here today, I'll tell you. Did you know? I didn't take a single cent of the Hua Corporation's shares, nor did I spend a single cent of your money. Do you know why? Huaxinghai shook his head. I'm not your daughter. What? Huaxinghai was shocked. I'm not your daughter, but I'm also not my mother and Jingda's daughter. I'm not their child. Huaxinghai didn't know what to say. You might be surprised, but I was 2 when I first found out the truth. So now I have some questions for you. You have to tell me the truth. Okay, ask away. After the initial shock, Huaxinghai seemed to have calmed down. I heard that you did a DNA test for me, so the doctor and the test report. Did you get it yourself? No, Jingda gave it to me. The doctor who gave me the report was my former personal doctor. Jingda had been my chauffeur for many years, so he knew him. We went to him and he gave me the report, Guning said. Didn't you have any suspicions at the time? Huamin asked. Yes, I did, so I called my personal doctor again. He said the results were correct. So your private doctor might have been bribed by Jingda, so they colluded. Huamin thought about this segment. Just as he had expected, everything was controlled by Uncle Jing. I heard that you gave Uncle Jing 200,000 yuan to get rid of my mother. Did you really give him the money? Yeah, I gave him cash, and he personally came to the company's finance department to get it. I thought that if he took the money, your mother wouldn't continue to cause trouble for me and continue to expose things from the past. That was the end of it, Huaxinghai carefully recalled. But Jingda didn't give the money to my mother. I've confirmed with my mother that she didn't receive such a huge sum of money. Huaxinghai, so it's very likely that Jingda used the money to bribe those people, but why would he do that? Huaxinghai was a little surprised. He hid my identity. He didn't want anyone, including my mother, to know that I'm not your child or hers, but Rong was pregnant at the time. If you're not my child, then where's my child? Huaxinghai was sure that Yang Meirong was pregnant with his child because they spent a lot of time together during that time. But if Huamin wasn't his child, then where was the real Hua family child? Where did it go? If you have a chance to find her in the future, I hope you can bring her to my grave to see me. After all, she's my child. If you want me to, I will. Huamin nodded. Second, you have to be careful of Huasiqian. Is someone who's capable of doing anything. You and Qin Chu have to be careful. I think he might do something bad to you. I know. Huamin nodded. When Huamin finally walked out of the room, her heart was heavy. She carefully put the ring away, put it in her bag and walked out. Already? Do you want me to drive you? Huasiqian chuckled. It's okay, I sent Qin Chu a WeChat message. He's coming to pick me up. Huamin refused Huasiqian's offer to escort her. When she walked out of the mansion, Qin Chu's car arrived as well. He drove the company's black Audi A8. Huamin immediately got into the car and drove away. Huasiqian smiled with a complicated expression on his face. Then, he turned around and went upstairs. What are you doing here? Get out, Hu Jinghai cursed with difficulty. You old thing, you're still causing trouble for me even when you're about to die. Then Huasiqian grabbed a pillow and walked over. What do you want? Hu Jinghai's face was pale, and his body trembled as he watched Huasiqian approach him. Chapter 1277. You've lived long enough. I'll send you on your way. Huasiqian smiled evilly. Bastard, how dare you? Hu Jinghai never thought that Huasiqian would dare to attack him so openly. He wanted to fight back, but there was nothing he could do. He was injected all day and had no strength left in his body. Huasiqian walked over and looked at Hu Jinghai one last time. Leave the whole corporation to me. You can go in peace. After speaking, Huasiqian lifted a pillow with both hands and covered Hu Jinghai's face with it. Hu Jinghai struggled with all his might, but it was to no avail. In less than 3 minutes, Hu Jinghai stopped struggling after that. His hands slowly fell. Huasiqian removed the pillow and looked at Hu Jinghai's pale face. He pulled the blanket up a little. Dad, have a good dream. He smiled faintly and slowly walked out of the room. When he reached the door, he raised his hand, turned on the switch, and took out a small listening device. Then he went downstairs. Sir, you're not staying for dinner? The maid asked. No, my dad's asleep. Don't disturb him. Call me if you need anything. Okay, sir. Then, Huasiqian drove his Rolls-Royce Welcome out of the suburban mansion. After Huamin got into the car, he didn't say a word. Qin Chu raised his hand and touched her face. Are you in a bad mood? Hu Jinghai is dying. Yeah, isn't that normal? Huasiqian never lets go of the people he wants to deal with. It's his style to eliminate the source of trouble. Qin Chu thought that it was normal. It would be strange if Huasiqian was willing to let Hu Jinghai live and feed him. I told him about that. You did? Aren't you afraid that Huasiqian has planted a bug in the room? Huamian shook her head. I'm not afraid. I think Huasiqian knows about my past anyway, so I might as well tell Hu Jinghai everything. He also confirmed some things from back then. What is it? Uncle Jing isn't that simple. I'm also curious. If he brought me back to pretend to be a child of the Hua family, then where did the real child go? This matter can't be investigated in a short period of time. Don't worry. Qin Chu reached out his hand and placed it on the back of Huamin's hand to comfort him. Right now, the biggest worry in Huamin's heart was the mystery of his birth. Rick also told Qin Chu to stop investigating. All the clues about Huamin's background had been cut off, and all the people who had investigated the matter had disappeared. This was not a good sign. However, Qin Chu had been secretly investigating this matter because he didn't want Huamin to have any regrets. I'm fine, honey, you don't have to worry about me. Huamin hugged Qin Chu's arm with both hands. You're speaking so clearly, are you sober now? Qin Chu was both angry and amused. I think I'm sober now. After all this, it was already midnight. Huamin didn't feel dizzy or nauseous anymore. It seemed like his alcohol tolerance was also increasing. After returning to South Hill Manor, the two of them went to bed early. The next morning, the headlines spread throughout Sea City. Hu Jinghai, the chairman of the Hu Corporation, passed away in his private mansion last night. Hu Min's heart skipped a beat. Although they weren't related by blood, hearing the news of his death was still heartbreaking. Hu Min had just gotten out of bed to wash her face when she received a call from her mother. "Me, did you see the news?" "Yeah, I just saw it." "Is it true? Is he really dead?" Yang Meirong's voice trembled. Wait for me, I'll go see you right away." Sky Blessing Court, Yang Meirong grabbed onto Hu Min's hand. "Mian, what happened? How did it happen so fast? I didn't hear anything about him being hospitalized. How did he die?" Although it was cold, they could see the blue sky and white clouds that they hadn't seen in a long time. Everyone was dressed in black, and they marched from the Hua family mansion to the cemetery. There were a total of 100 black luxury cars. It was quite a grand occasion. What was rare was that Song Yisher also came. She walked beside Hu Xiqian. She was expressionless. She didn't care about Hu Min, no matter how many people died. However, she had to be careful of the media. Therefore, her father was right. She had to pretend for a while. Song Yisher and Hu Min looked at each other. She turned her head away and ignored Hu Min. She didn't have any intention of speaking. Hu Min didn't want to talk to her either. Just like that, the group of people sent Hu Jinghai's body to the North Mountain Cemetery. They buried him next to the elders of the Hua family, which was the Hua family's ancestral grave. It was already noon by the time they were done. Hu Xiqian set up 100 tables at a 5-star hotel and invited guests to a funeral banquet. Hu Min wasn't in the mood. After sending his mother home with Qin Chu, he asked for half a day off to rest at home. Qin Chu, on the other hand, went to the company after sending Hu Min home. Hu Min fainted in South Hill Manor for the entire afternoon. When she woke up, it was almost dark. She put on her robe and went downstairs to warm herself in front of the fireplace. The north wind in the depths of winter couldn't be described as cold. It could freeze people to death. South Hill Manor had plenty of heating, but because the living room was too big, it was still a little cold. Hu Min sat in front of the fireplace, warming herself while drinking milk. Suddenly, her phone rang. She opened it and saw that it was a WeChat message from Jiang Xiaowei. She said, "Mian, Su Yu is back." Chapter 1279. Oh. Hu Min's reaction was relatively calm. Su Yu hadn't been gone for a long time. She heard that he was only down south for about 20 days. Now that he calculated the days, it was almost time, so it wasn't strange for him to come back. "Let's have dinner together tonight. Are you coming?" "I'm not going, you guys go ahead." As long as Su Yu was around, Hu Min would still subconsciously avoid him. She didn't want her husband to feel uncomfortable. She also didn't want Su Yu to have the wrong impression that she was interested in him. Flirting wasn't in her character. She always drew a clear line between kindness and hatred. On the other side, Jiang Xiaowei hung up the phone. Tang Chuan quickly asked, "Sister-in-law, what did Hu Min say? Is she coming?" "I told you she wasn't coming." "Give me the money, give me the money." Jiang Xiaowei reached out her hand. Tang Chuan helplessly took out 1,000 yuan from his wallet and handed it over. Wei Liao had just changed and walked out. "What money?" "I made a bet with sister-in-law that Hu Min would come, but I lost." Tang Chuan sighed. "Is your brain fried? Do you even need to bet? Even if you think with your ass, you know Hu Min won't come. She's been avoiding Lord Su, you know that. But Lord Su hasn't been back for almost a month. Even if they're normal friends, they would still come to welcome Lord Su, right?" Tang Chuan argued. "Too bad. They're not normal friends." Jiang Xiaowei happily put the 1,000 yuan into her bag. The advantage of being friends with rich people was that they could cheat money out of them anytime. Jiang Xiaowei made a lot of money in a year just by making bets. "All right, stop wasting time. Let's go and see what Lord Su looks like now." Tang Chuan was the first to turn and leave. The three of them sat in the RV driven by Wei Liao's driver. They went to the Phoenix restaurant together. Wei Liao had already reserved a place to welcome Su Yu. As soon as they reached the entrance, they saw a pure white sports car driving towards them from afar. Then, with a creak, it stopped at the entrance of the restaurant. Tang Chuan couldn't hold back his excitement. He jumped out of the RV, looked at the logo and exclaimed, "Fuck! Bugatti Veyron, limited edition? Lord Su, can you not be so awesome?" Su Yu opened the car door and got out. It was late winter, but he only wore a casual shirt. The design was very novel and unique. It made Su Yu look even more attractive. Only Lord Su can afford a $50 million car in the whole of Sea City. Wei Liao exclaimed as he carried Jiang Xiaowei out of the car. "Not necessarily, the guy at GK can afford it too," Tang Chuan added. "No one will think you're mute if you don't talk." Su Yu's face darkened. Hearing Qin Chu's name as soon as he came back was quite depressing. Then, the four of them entered the restaurant and went straight to the VIP room on the top floor. Wei Liao, Tang Chuan, and Su Yu gave each other a manly hug. "I think you're tanned." Jiang Xiaowei smiled as she looked at Su Yu. "The South China Sea is sunny every day, 34.5 degrees. Of course I'm tanned. To be honest, even a polar bear would turn into a black bear spirit." Su Yu said it in all seriousness. His slightly tanned skin looked even more masculine. "Ha! Lord Su, you're being naughty again." Tang Chuan wasn't easily amused. "I'll order, you guys talk." Jiang Xiaowei picked up the menu and flipped through it. The three men began to chat. "Lord Su, did you get anything from your trip to the South China Sea?" Tang Chuan asked with a mischievous smile. "What did I get?" Su Yu knew there was a hidden meaning in his words. Tang Chuan licked his lips sneakily. Of course he's asking about women. From what he said, what else could it be? Wei Liao added. Chapter 1280. Su Yu poured himself a glass of beer and lamented, "Let me tell you guys, Nanhai is a godforsaken place. How can there be a woman in that godforsaken place? That's where the military is stationed. Even the military dogs in that godforsaken place are male. How can there be a woman?" Tang Chuan, Wei Liao, Jiang Xiaowei, then, the three of them laughed in unison. "Then it must be hard for you to rely on your own hands to solve your biological problems." Tang Chuan smiled seductively. "Go away, don't talk nonsense. Dr. Jiang is here." Su Yu was a little embarrassed. "It's okay, you guys tell me. I'll take a short video for you guys. Maybe it'll go viral if I post it on WeChat." Jiang Xiaowei waved her phone around. No. Sister-in-law, don't post it on WeChat. If my dad sees me, he'll teach me a lesson. Tang Chuan wasn't as free these days. His dad told him to go to the company to study, so he slacked off. He would clock in the morning and clock out again when he got off work. Did anything big happen at home? Su Yu downed a glass of beer in one gulp. He immediately felt great. "Yeah, Song Yisher and Hua Xiqian got married, did you know?" Tang Chuan said in a teasing tone. "I heard." Su Yu nodded. Although he was thousands of miles away, he paid attention to the news in the city every day. Song Yisher and Hua Xiqian got married. It was such a big deal that the media all over the country reported on it. How could he not know? The old man of the Hua Corporation passed away. The funeral was held this morning, Wei Liao added. "Yeah, I heard someone talking about it when I got off the plane. Hua Xiqian is amazing. Now that there's no one left at the Hua Corporation, he's sitting on top of it all." Su Yu didn't like Hua Xiqian. He always felt that Hua Xiqian was a person who was always smiling on the surface, but on the inside, he was full of evil. Therefore, even when Hua Xiqian occasionally took the initiative to talk to him about business, he always ignored him. That's all. "Oh, there's one more thing about Hua Min, do you want to hear it?" Tang Chuan asked. Su Yu awkwardly, he lowered his head. "If you don't want to hear it, then I won't tell you." Tang Chuan purposely, "How dare you? Hurry up and tell me." Su Yu couldn't hold it in anymore. Tang Chuan's Hua Xiqian bi, Hua's, Hua Min, Hua. Jiang Xiaowei was puzzled. There hadn't been any news about Mian lately. She didn't know what Tang Chuan was going to reveal. "Hua Min, I don't know what's in his head, but he's a psycho. She just received the 2016 Most Outstanding Doctor Award from the International Red Cross Society." "Huh? When did that happen? How come I didn't know about it? Jiang Xiaowei froze. I don't think she knows about it herself. Didn't I date a girl from Finland before? She's a doctor too, so she's very interested in this area. I wanted to find common topics with her, so I followed some of the official medical departments on IN. When I refreshed the page this morning, I saw the official announcement. They probably haven't notified Huamin yet, right? Or maybe they did, but she doesn't understand English. Who knows? What kind of award is it? Is it of little value? Wei Liao didn't understand. Jiang Xiaowei explained, it's not of little value, it's a very important award. A while ago, Huamin wrote an article, and we spent the night looking for some specialized terms to translate and mail it to her. It's an article that calls for the world to pay attention to autistic children. It contains a lot of academic and personal opinions from Huamin, and it might have been accepted by the officials. She's really good. Wei Liao nodded, expressing his appreciation. This is nothing. Previously, the China Medical Association gave her the highest achievement award as a doctor, the Chinese Doctor Award. There were also awards and trophies, but she didn't show them off. Her assistant put them all up in her office, but the hospital put up a banner to celebrate her. I heard that President Wu gave her a personal bonus of 500,000 yuan. I suspect that Huamin isn't even from Earth. Tang Chuan said. Then he looked at Su Yu and asked, Lord Su, what do you think about this? Chapter 1281. Su Yu's gaze was slightly complicated. He pretended to be calm and replied, she's pretty good, she's pretty good. Perfunctory. Haha, is it that hard for you to evaluate Huamin? Tang Chuan laughed. I also think that Lord Su has become a lot more shy after coming back this time. Wei Liao looked at Su Yu with a thoughtful gaze. Jiang Xiaowei laughed on the side. The three of them having a gathering was really hilarious. Each of them had a more sarcastic mouth than the other. They never had a pleasant conversation. Basically, unless they didn't speak, they would either be sarcastic or mocking. They could be called the worst friends. The key was that they had known each other for too long. It wasn't an exaggeration at all. They could really start from when they were naked. Therefore, under normal circumstances, Su Yu wouldn't take Tang Chuan and Wei Liao's words to heart. He wouldn't really get angry, because he had gotten used to it over the years. Shy my ass? Aren't you guys making things difficult for me? How am I supposed to evaluate Huamin? In my eyes, she's great in every way. But I don't know if you guys think the same way. Su Yu spoke his mind very generously. Yo, great in every way. So you really... I don't know what kind of potion Huamin gave you. You're really hopeless. I thought that after you came back from the south, you would forget the past and start over. It seems like you went to the South Sea for nothing. Tang Chuan continued to mock him. Su Yu looked innocent. When did I say that I would forget the past after going to the South Sea? Your imagination is really rich. Also, I was just accompanying my grandfather for a walk, not drinking Meng Po's soup at the Bridge of Helplessness. Don't make it sound so ridiculous, okay? Okay, I won't mock you. Anyway, if you still like Huamin, then so be it. I think you still have a long way to go. Qin Chu shouldn't be too arrogant. Who knows who will be the most glorious one day? Tang Chuan's jingles were so good that Jiang Xiaowei was almost speechless. All right, stop bragging. Come on, let's drink. It wasn't that Su Yu didn't want to talk about Huamin, but he didn't want to talk about Huamin as a joke. Because he decided to keep Huamin in his heart from now on. If I can't forget, then I won't. If I like him, then I'll continue to like him, be like a man. He wasn't guilty. The guilty thing was that he was a step too late. In Huamin's world, he appeared too late. He was a full 7 years later than Qin Chu, which was why he lost so badly, but it didn't matter. Su Yu had thought a lot about this trip down south. Liking someone didn't necessarily mean possessing her. Actually, for Su Yu, it was already good enough to see her occasionally and hear about her recent situation from his friends. When he heard that she had won an award, he was happy for her. When he heard that she was in trouble, he was able to help her. When he heard that she was in a bad mood, his imagination would run wild. No matter when and where you were, there would always be someone who touched your heart. It would make you feel that ever since you had her in your life, life had become colorful, and even tomorrow was worth looking forward to. That was it. Su Yu left for more than 20 days. He had just returned and was in a very good mood. He also drank a lot. Tang Chuan had always been a good drinker, and he rarely got drunk. He was the kind of person who was born with talent and training. Jiang Xiaowei also relaxed the policy for Wei Liao, which was rare, and allowed him to drink more. After all, Lord Su was back and today was special. Thus, the few of them opened their hearts and drank a lot of beer. After a while, one box was gone. Su Yu seemed to want more, and asked the waiter to bring another box. Jiang Xiaowei secretly took a photo of the three of them and posted it on her WeChat moments. Then she added the words, "Lord Su is back, the long-awaited atmosphere. These three have become drunkards, please adopt them." Chapter 1282. Huamin was playing on his phone at South Hill Manor when he saw Jiang Xiaowei's post. Su Yu had his head lowered, and only the side of his face could be seen. His right hand had long, slender fingers, and between his index and middle fingers was a cigarette. Perhaps it was because she rarely hung out with Su Yu, so she hadn't seen him smoke much. To be honest, he was quite handsome. A person like Su Yu was the best in terms of looks, ability, personality, and wealth. He was the best of the best. If it weren't for Qin Chu, Huamin might have been tempted. After all, Su Yu treated her so well. However, there were no ifs in life, only consequences and results. Now that she had someone better, she wouldn't be so greedy. She generously liked Jiang Xiaowei's WeChat post. Jiang Xiaowei smiled and didn't say anything. She didn't tell Su Yu that Huamin liked her post either. This was because Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling were both fans of Mr. Qin. They were both envious of the love between childhood sweethearts, so they especially supported Qin Chu and Huamin as a super couple. During the banquet, the three of them drank a lot, and the atmosphere reached its peak. Tang Chuan complained, "Look at the three of us, why are our lives so twisted? We're almost like monks. We haven't had sex in a long time, right?" Wei Liao froze and looked at Tang Chuan with disdain. "No way? Lord Su has someone in his heart, so he's been abstinent for a long time. Xiaowei is pregnant, so I don't dare to do anything. You're a free man, how can you be like us? It's normal for someone like you to change every night. Don't mention it. I haven't been feeling well recently, so I went to a Chinese doctor to recuperate." Tang Chuan looked bitter. "That's what you get for showing off." Wei Liao smiled proudly. Su Yu also smiled but didn't say anything. "I can't harm my body like that in the future. My body is mine, but I can't have as many women as I want. I need to take good care of myself. Now do you know why so many ancient emperors died prematurely in their middle age? Xianfeng, Tongji, Guangxu and the others all died at a young age." Su Yu asked meaningfully. Jiang Xiaowei almost spat out a mouthful of mineral water. "You guys are so dirty." Even Dr. Jiang, who had always been extremely calm, wanted to complain. "Honey, they are just like that. You have to get used to it." Wei Liao hugged Jiang Xiaowei's shoulder and comforted her. By the time the three of them finished drinking, it was almost 11 p.m. When they walked out of the restaurant, they were all a little drunk. "Lord Su, we'll give you a ride first," Tang Chuan offered. "It's okay, I'm fine. I can drive slowly back." Su Yu refused and got into the white Bugatti. Wei Liao looked at Su Yu's pace and said to Tang Chuan, "Don't worry, Lord Su can drink a lot. Even though he drank a little more than usual, he can still drive. He knows his limits." Tang Chuan was relieved to hear Wei Liao's words. Then, the three of them left in the RV. Wei Liao and his wife drove Tang Chuan back to his mansion before going home. Su Yu, on the other hand, drove his sports car slowly around the city. For some reason, after the fun, he felt a little depressed. A black BYD sped past Su. Then, the car owner curiously slowed down and looked back at the luxury car behind him. "Fuck, is that a Bugatti Veyron? The legendary car that costs tens of millions? But why is it so slow? Even a Bugatti can't compare to my BYD." Not more than 3 seconds had passed since he finished speaking. He heard the roar of the engine, followed by a vroom. An indistinct white figure whizzed past with a whoosh. He didn't even see what it was. When he realized what was going on, he focused his eyes and took a closer look. The Bugatti was already gone. Would Suyu drive a sports car without speeding? That was impossible. Even though the alcohol was boiling in his blood, his mind was still very clear. Suyu sped all the way to the most scenic mountaintop in Sea City. After parking the car, he got out and leaned against the sports car while smoking. He took out his phone and quickly entered the number that he couldn't be more familiar with. Right now, he really wanted to hear her voice. Chapter 1283. Just as he was about to dial, Suyu suddenly had the urge to play a prank on her, so he used the phone app he downloaded on his phone to hide his number before dialing. Huomin's phone rang. She looked at the messy number and didn't think it was a normal phone number. However, it kept ringing, so she hesitated for a moment before picking it up. Hello. Huomin's crisp voice came from the other end of the phone. Suyu felt his heart race. Then he calmed himself down and deliberately said, Hello, Miss Hua, I'm from XX Personal Insurance Company. Would you like to buy insurance for yourself? Huomin froze for a second before realizing what he was talking about. She asked, So, the big boss of Imperial Star Entertainment isn't the CEO anymore and is selling insurance? Suyu, how did you know it was me? Suyu suddenly felt that it was a waste of time. She guessed it right away. He thought that Huomin would immediately hang up when she heard that it was an insurance company. Because your voice is quite recognizable. You can't fool me. Huomin smiled. Huh, okay, genius, I'm impressed. Suyu smiled calmly. His tone also became much more relaxed. Huomin was pleasantly surprised that she could immediately recognize his voice. At least in Huomin's eyes, he wasn't a passerby. I heard that you just came back today? Yeah. Suyu nodded. How are you? Are you okay? I'm good, but I'm a lot more tanned. Suyu smiled. The situation in the South China Sea has been quite tense recently. Your grandpa sent such a huge military commander over. I thought there was going to be a war. A war? Suyu froze. Yeah, we're dealing with the Philippines. It's their fault for coveting our South China Sea territory. You're concerned about national affairs? Suyu asked with interest. Everyone is responsible for the rise and fall of the world. Huomin smiled. Then don't worry, there won't be a war. That poor country isn't worth the effort of our great country. If we really wanted to destroy it, would we need my grandpa's army? With the help of the Air Force and Navy, it wouldn't even take an hour. Huomin smiled but didn't say anything. How have you been? Suyu asked awkwardly. Yeah, I'm good. I heard you won a foreign award? Suyu didn't remember what award Tang Chuan was talking about, so he asked vaguely. Huomian nodded. Congratulations. Thank you. Huomian was still polite. S's twoses. Suyu knew that if they continued to chat, there would be nothing to talk about and it would only make things more awkward, so he hung up the phone. 2. After hanging up, Suyu looked at the photo on his phone's screensaver with a gentle gaze. If Huomin was his girlfriend and was always by his side, would he die of happiness? He had never envied anyone in his life. It was always others who envied him. But at this moment he was especially envious of Qin Chu, because he could have Huomin so openly. To Suyu, this was such a luxury. She used to think that he was super rich, but now, he felt that Huomin was a luxury that he could never afford. He put his phone in his pocket, put out his cigarette, walked to the edge of the cliff at the top of the mountain, and suddenly shouted into the open space, Huomin, I love you. Huomin, I really love you. Huomin, do you know that I, Suyu, love you very much? After shouting 3 times, Suyu finally shouted out all the words that had accumulated in his heart for so long. He used this method to vent the emotions in his heart. But, could Huomin hear him? After venting, Suyu felt much better. He drove home to sleep. The next morning, at the headquarters of Imperial Star Entertainment, as soon as Suyu entered the president's office, his assistant, and hurried in and reported mysteriously, President Su, something big happened. Chapter 1284. What's the matter? Don't make a fuss. Su Yu had always been a fearless person, so there was really nothing that could make him feel like the sky was falling. Of course, Huamin's matter was an exception. Madame came a few days ago, and then, she personally ordered a beauty audition in the name of the company. It's called the Most Beautiful Girl in Sea City, and now the auditions are over. There are 20,000 people from all over the country who signed up, and now there are less than 32 left after the screening. Madame decided to go through the auditions and finally choose a champion. Su Yu didn't think much of it. As an entertainment company, don't we often do such talent shows to create celebrities? What's so strange about it? But this time is different. And was a little troubled. Su Yu walked to his desk indifferently and quickly turned on his laptop. What's different? This time, not only do we look at looks, but we also look at education, IQ, personality, family background. So, Su Yu raised his head and looked at it in confusion. So, Madame isn't doing a talent show for the company. She's obviously choosing a concubine for you. Pfft. Su Yu almost vomited blood. Choosing a concubine for him? Since when was he willing to do such a melodramatic thing? Who said so? Su Yu looked at it and asked. Although Madame didn't say it explicitly, we can all see it. Normally, our company's talent show would be covered by the media, but this time, it's super low-key. Madame said that she wants to choose the final champion in a low-key manner, and then, I think that person will be Madame's ideal daughter-in-law. Su Yu was speechless. After hearing Anne's words, Su Yu fell completely silent. Su Yu liked his mother very much because Lady Su was very sensible and was a very warm mother. She would never force her child to do things that he didn't like. He didn't expect his mother to come to the company while he was down south. And they even arranged such a strange show. The Most Beautiful Girl? 32 out of 20,000 people? What a talent. Alright, I got it. So, do you still want to continue this activity? Even the assistant, Shaoan, found it ridiculous. Let's stop for a while. Let me talk to my mother first before we make a decision. Su Yu was drunk last night and came home late, so he didn't have time to talk to his mother. Who would have thought that the old lady would create such a mess? Su Yu felt a headache just thinking about it. Why would he choose beauty? If he really wanted to look at looks, then, there were tons of artists under Imperial Star, and all of them were unbelievably beautiful. Huamin's looks were not enough to cause the downfall of a nation. It was more about his temperament. Important things have to be repeated thrice. Su Yu felt that it was hard to find someone in this world who had such a strong personality and aura like Huamin. If Huamin was a man, he would definitely be very capable and achieve great things in his career. The main thing was that no matter what she learned, she was exceptionally fast. It simply made those who worked hard to learn want to bang their heads against the wall at any moment. So, where did these crazy genes come from? Was it really the Hua family? It didn't seem like it. Hua Xinghai was a cunning businessman, but his IQ and EQ were average. The only person that the Hua family could rely on right now was Hua Xiqian, but she wasn't Hua Xinghai's biological daughter. So, why did the Hua family's genes suddenly change when it came to Huamin? Su Yu had been racking his brains, but he still couldn't figure it out. He still didn't know that Huamin wasn't Hua Xinghai's daughter. Later, when the truth about Huamin's identity was revealed, Su Yu met the real Huamin's family. Only then did he realize that her genes were crazy to the extreme. Every single one of them was very powerful. Southside Recuperation Center, Huamin was busy the entire morning. When she was about to go to the cafeteria for lunch break, she saw a familiar-looking lady walking over. "Auntie Su, why are you here?" Lady Su always came and went like a ghost. Huamin was quite surprised, but she knew that Lady Su wouldn't come looking for her for no reason. Something must have happened. "Child, are you free? Have lunch with me." Lady Su smiled elegantly. Chapter 1285. Okay. Huamin nodded and finally agreed. Because in Huamin's eyes, Lady Su had always been a sensible person. She wasn't the type to cause trouble for no reason. Huamin had a good impression of Lady Su. He always felt that she was very friendly and didn't keep a distance from him. The two didn't go far. Instead, they ordered some food at a quiet Hong Kong restaurant near the hospital. Auntie Sue, did you need something from me? Huamin couldn't help but take the initiative to ask. Yeah. Lady Sue nodded. Then she said, did you know that you is back? Yeah, I heard. Before he came back, I went to his company and launched an event called The Most Beautiful Girl. This event was held secretly, so not many media outlets reported on it. This time, I want to choose the most outstanding girl out of tens of thousands of girls. She's beautiful, well-educated, has a high IQ and EQ, and has a good education. She'll be Yu's girlfriend. But, will he agree? Huami knew Su Yu very well. With his fiery temper, he probably wouldn't agree to what his mother was doing, right? Yes, he won't agree. That's why I came to see you. You came to see me? What can I do for you? Huamin was a little surprised. You can. After speaking, Lady Su held Huamin's hand and said, Child, I know that you likes you a lot and that his heart is filled with your shadow. But you and your husband are so loving right now. You won't divorce or break up. With your personality, you won't betray him. So, I don't think you has a chance. Instead of letting his one-sided love continue, why don't you find a new friend to replace him and let him forget you little by little? I hope so too. Huamin nodded. She was speaking from the bottom of her heart. She really hoped that Su Yu could forget about her and live his life well. But my Yu is stubborn. He doesn't listen to anyone. When he was in the South China Sea, he even had an argument with his grandfather over a blind date. They parted on bad terms. So, I think you're the only one who can persuade him now. So you want me to persuade Su Yu to let the audition continue until the end? That's right. I'm really sorry to say this. This is our family's business, but we had to drag you into it for no reason. I don't want to make things difficult for you. My child, I just want to ask you for a favor. As Su Yu's mother, I really feel sorry for his stubbornness. Lady Su said sincerely. Huamin could clearly feel Lady Su's heartache for her son. Although he really shouldn't get involved in this matter, but if he could help, helping Lady Su was also helping Su Yu. It should be the best of both worlds, right? After hesitating for a moment, Huamin nodded. Auntie Su, I'll try. It might not work, but I'll try my best. Thank you, my child. You're welcome. I'm very happy to be able to help you and Su Yu. You're really a very good girl. Unfortunately, our Yu doesn't have the fortune. Lady Su's eyes couldn't hide her love for Huamin. She really liked this girl. She was sensible, not pretentious, and most importantly, she was real. Auntie Su, don't say that. I'm not good enough for Su Yu. Your Su family is a noble family. A commoner like me can't match up to you. You don't have to be so polite with me. What noble family? Our family's requirements are very simple. As long as you likes it, our whole family will like it. Lady Su smiled. Then I'll leave this matter to you. Before leaving, Lady Su didn't forget to remind him. Huamin nodded. After returning to the hospital, there were still 15 minutes before work. Huamin picked up his phone and sent a voice message to Qin Chu. Honey, what are you doing? I just finished a meeting. What about you? I just finished eating. Honey, I have something that I need your approval for. Speak. I want to meet Su Yu. Huamin made this request with trembling hands. He didn't know if Mr. Qin would be jealous. It was really torturous. Chapter 1286. Qin Chu, honey, repeat what you just said. Huamin. Honey, I have something I need your approval for. Qin Chu, no. Huamin, honey, you can't do that. Qin Chu, honey, I can spoil you for anything, but cheating on you is not allowed. You must be nipped in the bud. Huamin. No, don't think too much about it. To be honest, Lady Su came to see me today. Qin Chu, why did she come to see you? Huamin, she said she's starting an audition for beautiful women, but in reality, she's looking for a girlfriend for Su Yu. She's afraid that her son won't agree, so she asked me to persuade Su Yu. Qin Chu, You can do something that even his mother can't do? Then you have a higher status than his mother? Huamin, Xianxia, when do we meet? Huamin, wow, honey, you agree? Xianxia, I want to go with you. Huamin, Xianxia, I can wait in the car. Huamin, honey, I'm so touched. I thought you'd scold me for being a busybody. Xianxia, no, I know you have your reasons for doing things. Huamin, moi, honey, I love you. Xianxia, love can't be said with words. Huamin, Xianxia, just work hard tonight. Show me your sincerity. Huamin, don't worry, honey, I'll be very sincere. Xianxia, then you can arrange to meet him. I'll send you there. I'll wait for you in the car. I'll give you 1 hour. Huamin, oh yeah, long live my husband. Huamin knew that Xianxia wasn't someone who couldn't see the big picture, so he said that he was jealous. But deep down, he trusted Huamian. Since she dared to tell Xianxia that she wanted to meet Su Yu, Huamian didn't mind at all. Then there must be nothing going on. Moreover, it was Xianxia who sent her there. After the application was completed, Huamin wanted to contact Su Yu, but he suddenly realized that he didn't have Su Yu's phone number or WeChat. Huamin didn't want to alarm Xiaowei and the others. In the end, he decided to log into Weibo. I sent a private message to Su Yu. Are you there? Su Yu immediately replied, yes. Are you free tonight? Why did this sound like a date? Su Yu only felt that happiness came too suddenly. After suppressing the ecstasy in his heart, Su Yu calmly replied, let's meet up, I want to talk to you. Sure, you can choose the place. Su Yu pretended to be relaxed. Then let's meet at 6 p.m., Left Bank Coffee on Songjiang Road. Okay. After Su Yu replied, he was in a good mood. Boss, aren't you going to a business dinner tonight? And carefully reminded him. Cancel all my plans tonight. I have more important things to do. The corners of Su Yu's mouth curled up slightly. And froze. He hadn't seen his boss smile so happily in a long time. Was this the rhythm of a relationship? After work, Xianxia was going to pick up Huamin. It was snowing outside, and the weather was unbelievably cold. Huamin got into the passenger seat and gave Xianxia a big hug. Honey, where are we going to eat? You're not going to eat with him? Xianxia asked calmly. Of course not, I think it'll take at most half an hour. After I finish what I want to say, I'll come out. What do you want to eat? Xianxia looked at Huamin lovingly. I suddenly want to eat your black pepper beef pasta. I don't think those restaurants make it as authentic as yours. Huamin said coquettishly. Okay, then we'll go home and make it ourselves. Huamin smiled happily. It was rush hour, so traffic was inevitable. Every time they reached a traffic light, Huamin would turn on his clingy mode. She leaned her head on Xianxu's shoulder and placed her right hand on the back of Xianxu's right hand. She always felt that this kind of happiness came too quickly, and it was too unreal. It was like a dream. Huamin felt like she was a person with a very complicated fate. She couldn't believe that she had obtained happiness so easily. Therefore, the more uneasy she felt, the more afraid she was of losing him. Therefore, she clung to Xianxia even more. Honey, if you continue like this, I'm going to have a reaction. Seeing that Huamin's entire body was about to stick to Xianxia, Xianxia didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Chapter 1287. Huamin shyly straightened her back and stopped being a dogskin plaster. The two of them walked all the way to Left Bank Cafe. Go ahead, I'll wait for you here. Huamin nodded, then she grabbed her purse, got out of the car, and walked straight into the cafe. Su Yu's new car, a white Bugatti, was parked in front of the cafe. He came very early, even 20 minutes before the scheduled time. He cancelled everything just to meet up with Huamin. This was the first time in his life that Huamin took the initiative to ask her out. You're early? Huamin smiled. No, I just got here too. Su Yu felt a little awkward. Then he immediately called for the waiter. Waiter, give her a hot cappuccino. Thank you. Huamin sat across from Su Yu and took off her white down jacket. Inside, there was only a simple white shirt with a stand-up collar. with a butterfly design on the collar. So, did the sun rise from the west today? Su Yu looked at her and was in a good mood. Huamin froze. You actually asked me out for coffee. Are you surprised? Yeah, I'm really surprised. Su Yu looked down and slowly stirred the milk and sugar in her coffee. Actually, I asked you out today because I have something to tell you. I know, you wouldn't ask me out for nothing. Su Yu looked up. He was already mentally prepared before he came. With Huamin's personality, it was impossible for her to ask him out for coffee just to catch up. Su Yu's frankness made Huamin a little uncomfortable. Tell me, what do you want to announce? Is it because you're pregnant? Su Yu asked calmly. He had imagined countless times how he would feel if he found out that Huamin was pregnant. Maybe he would be happy for her, or maybe he would be disappointed. However, he didn't think that he would say it out loud so casually. Ahem. Huamin coughed violently. Why was everyone focusing on whether she was pregnant or not? It was as if she really couldn't have children. You misunderstood. It's not about that, it's about you. About me? Su Yu looked at Huamin and raised his eyebrows slightly. Yeah, about your company's talent show. Before Huamin could finish his sentence, Su Yu's voice sounded. Did my mother look for you? Yeah. Huamin wasn't good at lying, so she nodded casually. Ignore her. She's old and is going through menopause. Su Yu continued to drink his coffee. I think she's doing this for your own good, so why don't you think about it, Huamin? Su Yu suddenly raised his head, looked into her eyes, and called out her full name. Huamin looked at him quietly. You don't have to like me, but please don't tell me to like someone else. I don't like other people interfering with my life. I'm in charge of my own heart. Su Yu was a little angry. Huamin's motive was obvious as soon as she opened her mouth. His mother had asked her to persuade him. She wanted him to agree to that ridiculous audition. He wasn't the emperor of the harem. Why would he choose a concubine? I'm not trying to interfere with your life, I just think it's better for you. After all, you can't be alone. No one said that you have to get married and have kids. Everyone has the right to choose how they live. Why should I be like everyone else? So you asked. Huamin remained silent. The two of them didn't speak for a long time, and the atmosphere was a little awkward. Finally, Huamin bit her lips and looked up at Su Yu. Su Yu, let me ask you, do you still keep your promise? Chapter 1288. What do you mean? Su Yu was confused by her question. What do you mean by everything? Do you still keep your promises to me? Huamin stared into his eyes and asked, word for word. Yes, as long as I've promised you, everything counts. Su Yu was so sincere towards Huamin that he would do anything for her. So, if I take this out, can you fulfill my wish? Can you fulfill my wish? Huamin reached into her bag and took out the bullet shell that Su Yu had given her on her birthday. Su Yu's heart trembled when he saw the keepsake. So, what do you want? Are you trying to force me to compromise with you? Su Yu smiled bitterly. I'm not forcing you to compromise, I just want you to live a happier life. Huh? You're not me. How do you know that I'll be happy if you just randomly arrange a woman for me? Do you think that humans are like animals, that they just need to mate when they're in heat? Humans are high-level animals because they have their own independent thoughts and personalities. So what if I like you? What's wrong with that? You don't have to like me, but do you think it's fun to force me to do something like this? Su Yu was truly angry this time. Huamin knew that she had gone overboard, but she felt that if Su Yu could live a better life in the future, it would all be worth it. So, she gritted her teeth and placed the bullet shell on the table. On my birthday, you said that you would fulfill one of my wishes. So, Su Yu had a bad feeling about this. He felt like Huamin's wish was a trap for him. As expected, he heard Huamin say, word for word, so, my wish is for you to cooperate with the activity that Auntie Su has prepared for you. Su Yu sighed softly, then he raised his head and looked out of the window, his expression incomparably gloomy. You can take the bullet shell back. Su Yu pushed the bullet shell towards Huamin. What? Are you going to break your promise? Huamin was slightly startled. In her eyes, Su Yu shouldn't be a man who didn't keep his word. Then she heard Suyu say, "Take back the bullets. I didn't give you this for you to squander like this. I'll agree to what you've told me. You don't have to force me with a token. Actually, as long as you say it's what you want, I'll do it. It doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter." Suyu, Huamin didn't even finish his sentence. Suyu got up and left. Huamian couldn't finish her sentence and felt awkward. Suddenly, when Suyu walked past Huamin, he stopped and leaned over to look at Huamin. Then, he said, word for word, "Huamin, don't do to others what you don't want others to do to you." After saying this, Suyu got up and left. He turned his head without saying anything. Suyu didn't expect to end this meeting so quickly. When he walked to the door, he reached for his wallet and left a 1,000 yuan bill at the cashier. "Bill for table 6, keep the change." Actually, the last sentence that Suyu said before he left was a huge blow to Huamin. She was deeply touched. Yeah, Suyu was right. Don't do to others what you don't want others to do to you. If she couldn't accept it herself, why would she try so hard to persuade others? Huamin felt like she was being too selfish. She was in a hurry to find a girlfriend for Suyu because she wanted Suyu to forget about her. Then, she wouldn't feel guilty about her relationship with Qinchu anymore. In the end, she was thinking too much about herself and ignored Suyu's feelings. When Huamin walked out, she looked a little dazed. When she got into the car, Qinchu immediately noticed that something was wrong. "Honey, what's wrong? Why do you look so listless?" Chapter 1289. It's nothing, we just didn't have a good conversation. Qinchu was so angry that he laughed. He reached out his hand and pinched her face lovingly. "It's good that you didn't have a good conversation. If you two had a good conversation, would I still be sitting here quietly? I would have torn down that cafe a long time ago." Huamin smiled through her tears. She looked down and sent a text to Lady Su. "Auntie Su, I've already told him." "Okay, thank you, child," Lady Su replied immediately. Huamin took a deep breath, then put her arm around Qinchu's shoulder and smiled. "Let's go home for dinner, honey." Then, Qinchu and Huamin returned to South Hill Manor. As soon as the two entered the house, the butler, Uncle Li, walked over. "Sir, Madam, what would you like for dinner? I'll get someone to prepare it right away." "It's okay, I'll do it. You guys should go and rest." Qinchu changed his clothes, rolled up his sleeves, and walked into the kitchen with the ingredients. Huamin took a shower and sat on the sofa in the living room, looking at some hospital information. Not long after, Qinchu finished preparing the pasta. He even made a vegetable and fruit salad for Huamin. Huamin's bad mood was instantly swept away. The two of them sat facing each other. "Sir, here's the wine you wanted." Uncle Li handed over a bottle of red wine. This was flown back from France. "It's made from the latest grapes. Although it's not that old, it tastes good. Try it." As Qinchu spoke, he poured half a glass for Huamin. Huamin nodded slightly, and she lowered her head and took a bite of the pasta. Suddenly, her heart was filled with happiness. Looking at the man sitting across from her, she felt like she was back in her youth. "Honey, thank you for being in my life." Huamin was extremely emotional. She raised her glass to Qinchu. The corners of Qinchu's mouth raised slightly as he responded with a smile. Uncle Li looked at the two children lovingly and then left quietly. Both of them were very busy. It had been a long time since they could relax and enjoy a proper dinner. What a waste of our two-person world. On the other side, Suyu returned to the villa at night and began to pack up without saying a word. "Son, what happened?" "Move away," Suyu replied faintly. "Why did you move out?" Lady Su was used to going home to eat and sleep. She panicked when she saw that Suyu was about to move out. "It's nothing. It's just that the renovation of my villa has been completed. The formaldehyde removal work has also been completed. I've decided to move there. I still prefer to live alone." With that said, Suyu simply put some of his personal belongings into the suitcase, then carried it and walked down. "But why didn't you inform me in advance? Why did you leave just like that?" Lady Su was a bit reluctant to leave. Suyu stopped in his tracks and turned to look at his mother. Mom, why didn't you tell me in advance that you were going to choose a girlfriend for me? National editions? You should have just announced it to the world. I was doing it for your own good. I don't need you to do it for my own good. I can listen to you on everything else, but when it comes to marriage, I want to make my own decisions. I don't want to find a woman I don't like, marry her, and be with her for the rest of my life. Oh right, and don't go looking for Huamin anymore. It's my own business that I like her, don't drag her into it. Are you blaming me? Lady Sue's heart ached. No, I'm just giving you a piece of advice. I hope this is the first and last time. Also, you can continue with the event. Just let me know when you're done. I promised Huamin that I'll cooperate with you, but only this time. With that, Su Yu carried his suitcase downstairs. Then he threw it into the trunk of his sports car and left in a hurry. Lady Su felt a bit sad. Her son seemed to be really angry this time. She didn't think that Huamin would affect her son to this extent. It was another weekend. In the morning, Qin Chu went to GK to work overtime, and Huamin woke up naturally. When she got up, she realized what time it was. She had just put on her clothes when she saw Lady Qin come upstairs. Mian, hurry up and get ready, I'm taking you somewhere today. Qin Chu's mother seemed to be very nice to Huamin lately, and her attitude towards her was a lot friendlier. Chapter 1290. Mom, where are you taking me? Huamin froze. You'll know when we get there. Hurry up and get ready. Lady Qin urged her mysteriously. Huamin could only listen to her mother-in-law. She immediately washed her face, brushed her teeth, and changed her clothes. She looked at the weather forecast. It wasn't particularly cold today, so she didn't wear a down jacket. Instead, she chose a light blue cashmere coat. Inside, she chose a white knitted sweater. This combination made one's eyes light up. After Huamin changed, she didn't even have time to eat breakfast. Instead, she directly followed Lady Qin to the black Bentley. Lady Qin didn't know how to drive. Whenever she went out, the family chauffeur would pick her up. After Huamin got into the car, Lady Qin handed her a bag of soy milk and youtiao. Eat it while it's hot. It's not good for your stomach if you don't eat in the morning. Thanks. Huamin slowly took the breakfast. To be honest, she never imagined that a day like this would come. Not only did Qin Chu's mother accept her, but she also packed breakfast for her. What a surprise! Huamin quietly finished her breakfast. Then, she didn't say much on the way home. She simply looked out the window at the scenery. Just then, she received a WeChat message. Honey, are you up? Come to the office for lunch in a bit, Qin Chu said domineeringly. I'm afraid I can't. Mom's here. Which mom? Qin Chu was a little confused. Your mom. Huamin didn't dare to send a voice message. She could only type carefully. What's my mom doing? I don't know. She said she's taking me somewhere. Take it. Mom's pretty generous. If you go shopping, you can scam her a little more. Are you really her biological child? Huamin snickered. Qin Chu didn't reply. The car drove for about an hour. They were already very far out of the city. Finally, they got off the highway and entered a small village. Mum, where are we going? Huamian couldn't help but ask out of curiosity. Lady Qin took her hand and said mysteriously, There's a master fortune teller here. He's blind. It's said that he's very accurate. Many provincial leaders come here, but he doesn't show his fortune after noon, so we have to come in the morning. A fortune telling. Huamin was a little embarrassed. To be honest, she didn't really believe in these things. She had always thought that it was superstition, something that only the older generation believed in. However, her mother-in-law was also kind, so she couldn't refuse directly. Therefore, he braced himself and followed her into a farmyard. He wouldn't know if he didn't go in, but once he did, he was shocked. The courtyard was filled with people. It seemed like there was a party going on. Lady Qin stepped forward and said to a middle-aged woman at the door, We made an appointment with Master Zhao yesterday. All right, you guys wait for a moment. When the people inside come out, you guys can go in. Lady Qin nodded in satisfaction. Then she pulled Huamin and said, Don't think too much, kid. I'm not trying to tell you and choose marriage. After all, you guys are already married. I just want to see when you guys can have a child. This master is very accurate. Let's hear what he has to say. Huamin nodded. When you go in, don't be afraid if the master asks you anything. Just tell him the truth, Lady Qin instructed. Huamin nodded again. After about 10 minutes, the middle-aged woman walked out. You guys can go in now. Lady Qin led Huamin inside. However, the middle-aged woman stopped them. Only the person who asked the question can go in. Okay then, I'll wait outside. Lady Qin anxiously waited outside the door with her designer bag. To be honest, Huamin had never had her fortune told since she was young. She always thought that these things were lies. So, it was quite awkward. She entered the innermost room and saw an old man sitting on the sofa. He looked to be in his 60s. His hair was white and his eyes were closed. According to her mother-in-law, he was blind. Hello, master, I'm here to have my fortune told. Huamin politely bowed to the old man. Chapter 1291. Have a seat. The old man waved his hand, gesturing for Huamin to sit down. What do you want to read? I want to have a child. Huamin was actually quite embarrassed to say it out loud. After all, it was such a private matter. Give me your birthday, I'll take a look first. Huamin then told the old man the year, month, and time of her birth. Then, she saw the old man close his eyes and pinch his fingers together. At that time, she thought this was too typical. It was no different from those fortune tellers who set up stalls outside. They would just say that you had some kind of calamity and ask you to spend money to solve it. However, Huamin never would have thought that. The old man's first sentence was a sigh. Master, what's wrong? This life of yours. At this point, the old man hesitated. Upon hearing this, Huamin also became nervous. Master, if you have something to say, just say it. I'm fine. Child, it's been hard on you all these years. The old man closed his eyes. Although he couldn't see Huamin's face, it was as if he knew what she looked like. His words warmed Huamin's heart. She was surprised. I've been a fortune teller for more than 30 years, but I've never seen a fate like yours. Then, is it good or bad? Huamin continued to ask. How should I put it? It's not good, but it's not bad either. It has its pros and cons. Let's talk about it first. Okay. For the first time, Huamin was interested in something as vivid as fortune-telling. Your fate is quite exaggerated. Originally, you didn't have such a fate. But when you were born, something happened and it changed your fate. But it's good, it's destined that you won't have to wander around for many years. Master, I don't understand. Huamin was even more annoyed by her master's ambiguous words. Not many people knew about her past, except for her, Qin Chu, and Hua Xiqian. It was impossible for outsiders to know, but this old man seemed to know. Did he mean that he had been swapped in the hospital back then by a freak combination of factors? Child, there are some things that I can't say too directly. As the saying goes, the secrets of heaven cannot be revealed. You can figure it out yourself. However, I can tell you that although your life has been torturous and difficult, it's still considered peaceful. If it weren't for this calamity, if you had your original fate, you might have been living a life of escape. Will I be able to see my family again in the future? Huamin asked anxiously. Yes, but now is not the right time. They will come looking for you. Upon hearing this, Huamin was ecstatic. At that moment, the elder spread out his hands and said to Huamin, let me tell you about your current life providence first. All right. Huamin nodded. He was already in awe of the old man. If you have been through hardships in the beginning, you will definitely enjoy good health in the future. Huamin roughly understood the meaning of these 4 sentences. It seemed to be saying that if you have been through hardships in the beginning, you will be fine in the future. Then the old man slowly explained, you are handsome and have an extraordinary temperament. You are talented. You don't take advantage of good people, and you are not afraid of evil. You are bold and careful, and you have a strong aura. You don't come from a good family, but you have always been the backbone of your family. However, you rarely meet people who can help you, so every time something happens, you will be able to turn misfortune into fortune. Don't worry. That sounds good. Am I starting to get lucky? Huan Min smiled, thinking that the person the old man was talking about must be Qin Chu. To his surprise, the old man shook his head. Not yet. You will face another calamity within a year. Upon hearing this, Huan Min's expression changed slightly. Then, can it be overcome? Huan Min asked tentatively. He wanted to see if the old man was just saying this to make money. The old man shook his head. It can't be overcome. It is fated. Most people who say that they can help people overcome calamities are lying. A person's fate is fated, and no one can change it. Otherwise, you will become the enemy of the heavens. However, you don't have to worry too much about this calamity. According to your fate, you will overcome it. Anyway, remember, no matter what happens, stay strong. Only by staying alive will there be hope. Huan Min felt that his master's words made sense, so he nodded. Then, master, will I be able to have a baby in this lifetime? Huan Min held his stomach sadly. He suddenly lost confidence in himself. His master was actually quite accurate. He was not one of those liars who came up with nonsense. Chapter 1292. The old man calculated with his fingers, then slowly said, Don't worry, not only are you destined to have children, but you'll have more than one. More than one. Huan Min understood it as twins, triplets, or even multiple births. No way, either none of them came, or a few of them came. Did it have to be so weird? You're a man with many children, so you won't be childless. Don't worry, wait patiently, and it won't take too long. The old man said a lot to Huan Min. Normally, he wouldn't have said so much. Thank you, master. Huan Min nodded in gratitude. No need. Do you have anything else to ask? No. Huan Min felt that he shouldn't be too greedy. Even if the master was accurate, he didn't want her to continue. Let me ask you, if your life and what will happen in the next few decades can be calculated by someone else. How boring would that be? There was no surprise to speak of. The reason why life was so interesting was that you never knew what would happen tomorrow. Therefore, Huan Min decided that he only needed to know what he wanted the most, and there was no need to ask about anything else. Okay, then help me call the next one. Master, how much is it? Huan Min took out his wallet from his bag and prepared to pay the master. 1 yuan. 1 yuan. Huan Min was extremely surprised. This old man does fortune-telling for others to accumulate virtue and do good deeds, not to become rich. So, you don't have to be surprised. Just give me $1. If I read it for free, then I'll be punished by the heavens. That won't do. 1 yuan is too little, it's too insulting. Huan Min felt embarrassed. He took out 100 yuan bills from his bag and handed them over. However, the master insisted on shaking his head. I said I don't want it. Just give me 1 yuan. Seeing that the master's attitude wasn't very friendly, Huan Min knew that he was really angry. He didn't dare to insist, so he took out some change from his bag, took out 1 yuan, and placed it on the table. The old man picked it up and touched it. After confirming that it was indeed 1 yuan, he nodded in satisfaction. Huan Min put his palms together and bowed deeply towards the old man in a very sincere manner. Thank you, master. She had never had her fortune told before, and this was her first time doing so. She had really met an expert. No need. Let's go. The old man waved his hand and dismissed Huan Min. Hearing Huan Min's footsteps leaving, the old man sighed slightly again. It's really hard on this child. His fate is too complicated. When they walked out, Lady Qin immediately walked up and held Huan Min's hand. How is it? Mian, what did the master say? Master said, there will be children and more than one. Huan Min was a little shy. Are they twins? Or are they multiple births? Oh my God, that's great. Lady Qin was overjoyed. Lady Qin didn't doubt the master's words at all, because her friends had told her before. Therefore, she was very sure that the master's words were very accurate. Now that he said that Huan Min was destined to have many children, it meant that the Qin family had a successor. Let's go, Mom will treat you to a big meal. There's no need. You've been busy with me all morning. Huamin was a little embarrassed to let his mother-in-law make the arrangements. After all, she was an old woman. What's there to be busy about? We're family, don't be silly. Let's go. Lady Qin held Huamin's hand and got into the Bentley. Then, they drove to the top-floor restaurant of a 5-star hotel in the city. Lady Qin ordered an Australian lobster, some bird's nest, sea cucumber, and abalone rice for Huamin. The meal cost more than 20,000 yuan. Huamin's heart ached, but his mother-in-law was generous. This time, she came back with such good news. Whether it was for Huamin or Lady Qin, it was great news. During the meal, she took the initiative to ask Huamin, "Child, did you tell Chu about this?" Chapter 1293. Not yet. I'm afraid that it won't be good if it isn't. Huamin wasn't sure. If the master's divination was wrong, it would be a slap in the face. Therefore, he didn't tell Qin Chu. However, Lady Qin couldn't wait. Oh, that won't happen. This master is very good. If he says it's true, then it's true. Then, before Huamin could say anything, Lady Qin took the initiative to call her son. Chu, let me tell you a piece of good news. Today, I took Mian to a very accurate fortune teller. Guess what he said? The master said that she's destined to have many children. Our Qin family is going to be very lively in the future. Lady Qin couldn't hide the joy in her eyes as she reported to Qin Chu. Huamin lowered his head. She was too embarrassed to tell everyone. After all, she wasn't pregnant yet. Qin Chu smiled on the other end. This is good news. You have to comfort your daughter-in-law. Of course, I'm taking her to eat a big meal right now. Australian lobster, do you want to come? Lady Qin said proudly. I'm not going. I still have work to do at the company. You guys enjoy your meal. After hanging up, Lady Qin smiled at Huamin. Chu sounds very happy too. Hey, Mian, do you think these babies will be boys or girls? Are they twin girls? Or boys? Or both men and women? Mom, it's not the responsibility of either party to give birth to a boy or a girl. In medicine, it's a matter of chromosomes. It's a matter of X and Y, Huamin explained with a smile. I don't know about XY, but I think it'd be best if it's a boy and a girl. But it'd be good if it's 2 girls and a boy. Oh, everything's good. Even if it's a girl, I'd be happy. Huamin was very happy about Lady Qin's attitude. She wasn't like those rich mothers-in-law who wanted to give birth to a boy. For the current Lady Qin, as long as Huamin gave birth, it didn't matter if it was a boy or a girl. Therefore, Huamin really didn't have any burdens. After eating with his mother-in-law, Huamin wanted to go to Sky Blessing Court to see his mother. Lady Qin happily asked the driver to send Huamin to Sky Blessing Court. However, Lady Qin didn't go in. After all, so many unpleasant things had happened before, so she couldn't face it so calmly. Before Lady Qin left, she reminded Huamin to eat and sleep well and prepare for pregnancy. Huamin smiled and nodded before entering his home in Sky Blessing Court. When she went in, she found her mother eating alone. She was very happy to see Huamin. Mian, you came just in time. I made corn noodles. Mom, I've already eaten. Hurry up and eat. I just came to see you. Huamin sat down on the sofa with a smile on her face. She turned on the TV and watched in boredom. Suddenly, a note on the coffee table caught her attention. It was a money transfer receipt. On it was clearly written, Sender, Yang Meirong. Recipient, Yang Xiaoping. The date of the transfer was today, and the amount was 10,000 yuan. Mom, you went out today? Huamin suddenly asked. Yang Meirong was eating in the dining room, so she didn't see her daughter find the receipt. Therefore, she replied, Yeah, I just went out to buy some groceries. There's nothing left to eat at home. Why did you transfer 10,000 yuan to Xiaoping? Why did she need so much money all of a sudden? Huamin asked with a complicated expression. Upon hearing her daughter's question, Yang Meirong's expression changed. How did you know? You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.